Oh, yeah.
And so when I do a solo one and I hear someone talking about it and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like maybe I'm not just talking to myself, you know, even though it feels like that in the moment, maybe it's not just me too. So if I can get like a person, you know, a part of the conversation like that too, especially when they get to talking at it, it's like, it's a win. Let me double this up.
That's very appropriate.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God. I feel so bad because you work so hard.
I feel bad because that was 2 bottles.
That too.
Oh my God. Oh no. Is there some left over?
I don't. Oh my gosh, I don't think so. Do we need to like clean up anything? Oh, there is some left over.
You know, I wasn't going to get drunk today, but.
The world said no. The universe said no.
So we're back now.
You know, you're
Start with the cheers?
You're probably gonna add this in. Cheers.
Cheers. Yup. Right back at it. Hey, this is the real 2-year right here. Cheers, y'all. The real 2-year anniversary.
The real 2-year anniversary.
Crazy, right? 2 years ago.
It took us 2 years to get me back on.
Took us 2 years to get him back on, but 2 years with upgrades.
I'm just kidding.
A lot has happened in the last 2 years.
Good Lord.
Specifically, we would say, yo, we straight up survived a pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's cool too. Like, I don't think we ever talked about it, or I don't think I ever brought it up. When it came to the first time we were doing it, what was crazy that is the backstory on the first episode and how the first episode almost didn't happen.
Yes.
Right? I never talked about it. So tripping on this, y'all. Exactly 2 years ago and some change, you know, because we went past the week and everything.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to record the first one, right? And this is like when there was COVID, but it was still like, we didn't really know much about it. They had just started shutting down like restaurants and bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, we're still cool. We don't know there's no crazy restrictions just yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, it's getting to Thanksgiving weekend, right? So it's getting to Thanksgiving weekend or Thanksgiving week, I would say. And then I remember Amanda, she got like a call or she got like a text or something like that. And it was just like, hey, one of her coworkers tested positive.
Yeah, they were,
And they're doing the contact tracing. Mm-hmm. And it's like everybody, and they were like, was she in the vicinity? And it's like, well, it's a coworker, and they were like around each other.
Right.
And then it got back to, you know, obviously guys being roommates.
And
then it was just like,
the whole thing.
Yo, hold up. And it was like literally be like, hey, the first episode, the launching is in jeopardy. It may or may not happen.
Yeah.
And it was just like, damn, like, what are we going to do? And it was like, should it go through? Should we not? And it was like, we're trying to be precautious, especially at that time. This was like 2020, you know? So.
Yeah. I remember Gil and I could not go home for Thanksgiving that year because our parents were so cautious.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to stay home. And I cried. It was like Thanksgiving without.
I was without Shia too. Yeah, I was without Shia. And I remember it was like, damn, what are we supposed to do? I'm not going to be able to go back either because we kind of, play everything safe and being precautionary with everything. And so we were like, hey, well, we're not going to be with our family for Thanksgiving.
I know.
We're interacting with each other like the day before, I think too, or the day of.
Yeah, we were in contact with each other.
So it was just like, all right, if we're going to get it, we're going to get it together and we're going to rock with it. You know what I'm saying? So we recorded the episode, and then afterwards it's still like I said, we were away from everybody, and it was just like, damn, this is the way we're starting off episode number 1.
I know. And I remember I was the only one that actually got tested.
Yes.
And it came back negative.
Oh, we went to the drive-thru one, remember?
Yeah, we went to the drive-thru.
This is how, let me tell you how we were doing it, bro. It was one of those, like when she went to go get tested, it was a pull-up one, like the quick, it was like $175 or some shit like that.
It was so expensive.
Yeah, for like a 15-minute test. And this is our method of knowing we're good. When she tested negative, we're like, all right, we're good. If she don't got it, we don't got it. That's how we were doing it.
I know. And then the reason I had to get tested too was for work. They wanted me to test. And even though I came back negative, they still wanted me to stay home like an extra 10 days.
Yeah.
But then I was like, all right, it's Thanksgiving weekend. I'm going to get extra vacation.
And they're doing the paid time off and everything too. So it was like, it's definitely a win. And then on top of that too, it's like, 10 days is like really so freaking chill. You know what I mean?
It was so nice.
It's really chill. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a win-win and all that. But it's cool, and it's crazy to think about like how much we've came since then. And the first episode to like right now, it's like, you know, on the chill over here, freaking bottomless on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Raiders. Hopefully they win.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
On a
Yeah.
Sunday.
We're gonna do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It don't matter. But I want to go back to that. So 2 years, how much that stuff changed, and how much we've grown, and the amount of things that's happened since then. Right? To name a few.
So much.
To name a few. Pregnant.
Yeah.
Had a baby. Got married.
Bless you, baby.
Bought a house. All within 2 years. I mean, there's people that are like way older than me. I'm 30. And there's people that are like 30 some that haven't even done that yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No diss. I'm just saying. I'm just using it as a metric to compare. But all that within the last, like literally 2 years.
Well, I mean, I was pregnant last year, and literally this year, 2022, all of those other things happened.
Yeah.
Had the baby, got married, got a house. It was like back to back to back. It's been a crazy big year.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm ready for just it to be chill now.
Yeah, no joke. Like I'm ready for like a normal, like, or whatever we think was like 2019. You know what I'm saying? Get it excited for like movie releases and stuff like that. I'm ready for like that time frame. Also, I have a son too, and I remember, and he's also getting bigger too, and so he's not so much a baby anymore, but he's still a baby, but not a baby, but a baby at times. But he's like my baby. You know what I'm saying? So. I'm ready to see that growth and development in that too, because in the 2 years it's cool to see how much he has grown and how much
he's learned.
How much he's learned right within 2 years. I always have like friends of mine that have babies too. We always talk about like what stages they're at. You know, like are they potty trained yet? What do they learn? Do they know this? Do they know that?
Talking about milestones all the time.
Like milestones, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I look at it like, man, he's doing good, and maybe obviously there's some bias there because it's my son, so I'm always like, oh, he's doing good, he's learning so much.
Of course.
And then when you get around to the kids and you start to see, like kind of maybe how they're progressing and everything, and it's like, oh, he's kind of ahead. You know what I mean? Not to brag about it, but he's like, he's kind of ahead, kind of learning a lot more things too. And so it's really cool to see that, as opposed to, you know, first, you know, Thanksgiving time frame in 2020, he was only a few months old, you know?
I know.
So it's like, it's the 2 year development and in that too.
Yeah, now you have a 2.5-year-old and I have an almost 8-month-old.
Yeah. And so for the podcast too, I talked about it. So last week, now we can talk about what happened. So basically, so Olivia was supposed to come on last week for the official 2 year anniversary one, right?
Yes.
But Lily was sick and is sick still. And it was like, it almost felt like a whole nother, he's asleep. It almost felt like a whole redo. It was just like, oh my God, is this COVID shit happening up again?
Oh my God.
Right?
No, now that you like put it into like words, it's like, oh my God,
shit.
it's the same
It's
thing.
the same shit, right? So it was
full circle.
Full circle in 2 years.
It was meant to be.
So it was just like, okay, we're being precautious with it. We were waiting for her to take a test.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, the first one was negative. And it was like, cool. But we wanted to be extra sure because
she was having symptoms.
And then with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, for sure.
We were like, bro, like we have to be, that's why I called Gil too. And I was just like, let's be extra cautious on this one.
Yeah.
Let's just wait till she takes another test. And I was like, I do this every week. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to come back and we can do it either way.
Yeah.
But I'm excited that you're here now too, because I was able to talk. I touched on it briefly with last week's episode, but I want to talk about it a little bit more now in the 2 year journey of the podcast and how much it's grown and how much I still want it to grow, even though it may not be there at that level just yet. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, we're our biggest, you know, critiquers. Is that a word? Critiquers?
You're your biggest critique.
Biggest critique, yeah, within us. You know what I mean? So I like the fact that, like I said, 2 years later, still here. Because a lot of times, and I've talked about this with other podcasters and other friends of mine.
Yeah.
And they say, you know, a lot of people start something and kind of, when it doesn't get to where they want it to, and it starts to plateau, they kind of just like trail off, or they kind of back away from it. You know what I mean?
Almost kind of let it die. Yeah. Without any effort.
Right.
Yeah, it's like hard to put in words, but yeah, they kind of let it die by like not putting in the effort to make it keep going.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be just podcasting too. You could do whatever it is that you're gonna do every week, or you say you're gonna do every week.
Yeah,
whether that be working out, in the gym or at home, dieting, a business, a side business, whatever it is. If, you know, after that first year, if you don't get those sparkles and those, you know, those fireworks, or maybe you don't generate the revenue that you would think the first year, a lot of people are just would just wash their hands in and be like, all right, at least I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the goal for this one too. It was that I said, I'm going to do it for a year and see where we're at with it.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, if it's nothing, if it's not successful, then you know what? I'll be like, I'm content with it. Be like, all right, at least I did it for a whole year, consistent.
Right.
Could throw it away and everything, you know?
So do you think like with that, sorry to like cut you off,
you're good.
but like, do you think with that, your idea of success was like kind of what is sort of like the mainstream idea of success? Because you've continued past a year.
Yeah.
And like, you can tell that you love this shit.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
there's a light in you when like you do this, or even just when you talk in general. And we could be like talking at the table and you're like, crap, I wish I would have like had this as a podcast.
Yeah,
like, you're always like
I'm guilty of that pretty much.
And like, you're always working for the podcast, even though it's not maybe at the stage that you want it to be at. Yeah. You're in that mindset and in that headspace of like, you want this to be something, and like your heart's in it for sure. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you're just playing the long game, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think what has changed since the first year mark was I was trying to define what I thought was success, was trying to equate it to like financially, you know what I mean? And what has changed throughout the last year was knowing that not everything has to be financially beneficial to be considered successful, right? So it's like I might have not, earned the revenue that I would like to, but I also learn more in valuable lessons and interactions and experiences and relationships that's been built off of this, whether that's, like creating an olive branch and extending out to other people. And also it's really cool to see the amount of people that I've interviewed and that have been on. It's like the small little family, the podcast family that I call it. It's really cool to see them interact within each other in the podcast fam, you know what I'm saying? And have those interactions like that. So to me, that
it's like you're the root.
Yeah. So like in me personally, that's already successful, just to generate that and to kind of, cultivate that internally, Yeah. And then another way that I found it successful is also teaching myself and learning, be like, yo, you did this for the 1 year and then now you're at the 2 year. Who would have thought? At first at the beginning was just, we're going to do 1, and then for it to be 2 years and then you'd be like, oh, you can, there is no time frame or time stamp, or there is no way to be like someone to be like, this was a flop or some shit like that if it's not there yet, So that's what's changed. Like I said, within the last year specifically, is learning that and trying to understand what successful is or what is success,
Yeah.
So it's all learning,
Yeah, and then I feel like it's also like completely embodying like what the whole podcast is about, being hypocritical as fuck.
That's me.
It's just like you're also like catching yourself and realizing like, and changing your mind, and like changing your mind is okay. Mm-hmm. And you're catching yourself. It's maybe not so much being hypocritical, but like, because in the moment you mean it, but then with experience and like with all the things that you learn, you're like, well, no, like I feel different about this now, and that's totally fine.
And I think what's cool too is like I like when hearing about like when people. I guess the reach that it gets to, and some people they'll be like, yo, I checked this one out. And whether that's like an old ass episode or like the most recent one, when they go like, yo, I listened to that one, blah blah, like, hey, you're off on that one. And I go, yeah, probably. I was like, well, thank you. At least you fucking, at least you heard me out, because then it gives me some shit to talk about. Because sometimes, especially when I'm doing a solo one, I'm always thinking, I'm like, bro, it's tough for me to hear myself and do the solo ones, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And so when I do a solo one and I hear someone talking about it, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, maybe I'm not just talking to myself, even though it feels like that in the moment, maybe it's not just me too. So if I can get like a person, a part of the conversation like that too, especially when they get to talking at it, it's like, it's a win. Let me double this up.
That's very appropriate.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god. I feel so bad because you work so hard.
I feel bad because that was 2 bottles.
That too.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Oh,
is there some left over?
I don't. Oh my gosh, I don't think so. Do we need to like clean up anything? Oh, there is some left over. Holy shit. Do we need to clean up anything?
You just gotta hide this. I wasn't gonna get drunk today, but
the world said no. The universe said no.
So we're back now. I don't know if bottomless mimosas is the fucking I don't know if they want us to have. Cheers.
We didn't get an entree, so we don't get bottomless
Bro.
today.
Oh my goodness. Here, I don't want to fucking.
No, I don't want to touch it.
Oh man.
Thank you.
You know what, dude?
Let's just top
Let's
them
just
off.
top it off.
Because this is the last of our bottomless. They're kicking us out after this.
Oh man.
If you cry, that's totally fine. I would cry, honestly, if that was me.
It's an ocean violation.
You know, it's disappointing. We're gonna make the most out of it. Cheers.
Yeah, making the
Cheers.
most.
Cheers. Gil.
Cheers,
Yo.
babe.
Okay, so I can't believe that fucking happened. You know what? I should have asked you on your end. I should have been like, "Yo, can you grab it?" Because the handle was on your end. I was trying to turn it. I didn't think about it, but we're good.
It's okay. We're here now.
We're here now.
We survived.
Okay, so one thing that I want to hit too is within one of the things that we said at the beginning to highlight what has changed within the last 2 years and everything, right? So in that, within the last 2 years was you having a baby and becoming a mom, right?
Yes.
So I want to talk about this specifically, right?
Okay.
Okay, so what has changed, right? What has changed in your perspective when it comes to being not gonna say what has changed because obviously first time, right? First time having a baby.
So much has changed.
But what has changed specifically since becoming a mom? Yeah.
Just in general.
In general.
You're just gonna okay.
Well, there's more to it, but yeah.
Okay. There's physical changes, psychological changes.
Oh yeah.
Emotional changes. Just everything has changed. In the best way.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
And he was definitely a surprise.
Oh yeah.
He was definitely a surprise, but the best surprise. Like I would do it all over again 10 times over.
When people say it was the gift that I never knew I wanted, do you think that holds true or that holds value to it?
Yes, but I always wanted kids. So
okay.
that quote doesn't like really resonate with me.
Yeah.
I mean, the timing obviously wasn't. Timing was off because, I mean, we were living with roommates and we were in our own place.
Yeah.
Where we were financially, we were still trying to figure things out. But we knew this is what we wanted and it just came earlier than what we expected. And just as like my kind of philosophy on like life, it's like, if you just put in the work, things will just work out for you.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe that, like, I believe in fate, but, like, I truly believe, like, but you have to also put in the work. But I just truly believe that things are just meant to happen and they happen for a reason. And everything was just meant to be. And, I mean, look at where we are now. It's fucking wild. But we're beyond happy and lucky and blessed. And it's just amazing.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard as hell.
Yeah.
Like, don't let, like, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's hard as hell, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, Instagram only shows a portion of what it really is.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's the one, like, I'm not going to say argument, but that's that one thing that when people say, how do you know when you're ready? Or I wasn't ready.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah. So that's the thing when people like when they ask them about kids, they always be like, "Oh, I'm not ready to have kids. I'm not this. I'm like that."
Yeah.
And it's just like my always respond to that. It's always like, "Bro, you're technically never gonna be fully 100% ready.
No.
Age doesn't even matter. You could be 40, 30, 15. Doesn't matter. No one's fully ready.
Yeah.
Right. To be a parent, or become a parent.
Yeah.
But it's about how you adjust to it. When you figure out things you gotta change it or you know.
It's like
go on the fly.
Yeah, it's almost like I think it's what the Matrimony song from Wale in the intro. It's like they're talking about marriage, but this is like with kids. It's like almost the same thing with anything like that's change in life. Like that has to do with change. Like you're never fully ready because it's change. It's something new. It's something different.
Right.
And it's gonna like make you grow.
What are you doing to prepare for that?
Exactly.
It's also how early you prepare. What changes are you making at the home? What changes are you making in your lifestyle? What changes are you making financially to better prepare yourself for that?
Yeah.
When no one's actually ever ready. And that's like I said, that's why I was cautious with using the word argument because it's not like an argument. I'm not trying to counter it too much, but it's more so like I'm just saying like maybe it doesn't hold fully 100% true. You know what I'm saying? Because I know friends of mine, and we have friends too that who really just enjoy their life right now the way it is without kids, and they're just like, bro, I can't even imagine having kids right now. I have friends that are just like, bro, I'm trying to do this and do that and do all these things, you know, and
that's totally
and I get that argument because I'm like, on one end, it's like, okay, I remember before I had a kid, I remember friends of mine were being like, you know, I want to travel, I want to go do all these places and go do all these things to get this out the way before I start to have kids, you know. I'm like, bro, that's if you have it like that, and if you feel like if you have your life somewhat planned out like that, it's like no problem. But the odd thing about life is that some things go unplanned, you know, because I could say too, like my son being born, it wasn't planned. I wasn't planning on it, even though I knew it was headed that direction, and I know that's what I wanted. Because also, for me, some background on it, I've always, since I was younger, I've always been really keen and been good with kids. So like I grew up in a big family, you know, so cousins, nieces, nephews, and everything. So I've always loved to be around kids, and I've always pictured myself and envisioned myself being a parent, you know? Yeah. So when I was 21, I remember being, when I was like 17 or some shit like that, I remember being like, yo, I want to have a kid by the time I'm 21. Me looking at my 17-year-old self, I'd be like, just wait, bro, trust me. But like when I was 17, but like I would love to have a kid, 21 and everything. But that was also 17-year-old living, going to school still in San Lucas and being in King City and not really understanding life much. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for my 17-year-old version of myself to be kind of skewed to see the rest of my family, because Mexican family, big family, have kids when you're young. That's like the thing.
You start young, to have that many kids.
And especially the area where we grew up at, it's like everybody has kids when they're young, right? So I can see when people say that, like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and get this out the way. Or I know guys specifically, guy friends of mine that have been like, bro, like, I'm trying to run through, like, going to this city, going to these parties, and run through all these clubs and do all these things. But like I said, that's like the odd and beautiful thing about life, is that sometimes it hits you unexpectedly, you know, and you might not, and you might give you something that maybe you weren't prepared for and everything too. And from that too, you think about from the time, you know, you got pregnant to the time the baby was born, how fast everything came about, you know what I'm saying, between marriage and then having your own spot. And it's beautiful because it's like it's like a different feeling. I tell people if you do get, is that rain?
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
That sounds so
That's
pretty.
why I didn't barbecue. But it's a good thing, like when you get to go to your own spot and you have your family right there, and it's like you wake up, right? It's a different feeling. It's a different feeling, you know, especially knowing
it warms my heart.
Right. Yeah, and it's also being like the age. It's not mandatory, right? But it just puts a little extra thing on top. Just being like, look at.
It's like the extra cherry for sure.
The extra cherry on top to be like, look at this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, we were in an apartment. We were like kind of planning, like getting the house and everything. It wasn't like a set in stone thing that we knew we wanted, or that it wasn't like a goal to like have this year. Like, oh, we're going to buy a house. Yeah. It just sort of kind of happened. Yeah. And we were in an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was happy there. It just so happens that this house came up and it was perfect for us. Yeah. And oh my God, went through some bullshit with that. Dude, but ultimately we are moved in and everything. Yeah. And I think also now, because it's like holiday season, like our Christmas tree's up and like we're decorating, and I'm also still organizing the house. But oh yeah, we wake up and sometimes I even come home and like walk through the door, and like Gil's home with the baby because Gil gets home before me. And
Loki jealous.
I know. Yeah. And it's just, I get hit with this wave of emotions, and sometimes I cry. Yeah, yeah. Which I totally embrace. But me too, it's just, there's so much gratitude in like where I am at this point in my life. I never expected me to be at this place like right now. I knew I would be here. Yeah. Like I've always envisioned myself like being at this point, or like getting to this point. I never knew at what age that was going to be. And just being here, it's like, and everything's happening so fast. Yeah. And I still try and like absorb it and take it in. And sometimes I have to reflect too, just because it is moving so fast that like you miss it sometimes. But oh my gosh, it hits me like a train sometimes. And I just get this wave of emotions, and it's like the best feeling.
Yeah. Ever since my little man was born, Yeah, it's just emotions all the time.
Oh, yes.
Cry for like nothing, like just to be around him, just to see him. Even I'll be kicking it with him. I'll be watching him, thinking about him, and be teared up just thinking about him while I'm watching him.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
I know that.
That happens. Yeah, it happens all the time. So I also embrace it too. It's a different, like I said, it's a different feeling. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not discrediting or telling other people who don't have it. Like I said, I want to go do all these things, and it's like, it's great, dude. Trust me, if I could do that, I'm sure I'd be great. But now it's like I can do that still and try to bring the family. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what's beneficial for it and everything.
Yeah, your view has just changed because it has to change because now there's this whole other person that you have to be fully selfless for.
Yeah.
Like
literally, yeah.
So yeah, of course, like your whole viewpoints change, and it's like you're not taking away from anybody else's like stances or where they're at where they are at the point in their lives. This is just you're at the point in your life now where you have to think about those things.
But think about that though. Think about saying all this and how, appreciative and how grateful we are for our kids, and still to be like, I was wrong. 17, do not have a kid at 21 and be like, you know what I mean? No, do it. I'm glad I did it. And it's not even so much of the like, I wouldn't want to. I just look at my 21-year-old version self and be like, I feel like I wouldn't be able, it wouldn't be fair to him. I wouldn't be able to give as much as myself at 21 as I would right now. And it's not even because it's like I couldn't, because I feel like the want to and the drive would always be there. But I just don't know if financially, if emotionally at 21, I'd be able to give as much as I am right now. You know what I'm saying? If that's a fair little thing to say, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you're still growing. Your brain is literally still developing.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it at 21 too. It's not even so much of just like, okay, 21, you're thinking party mode all the time and everything, right?
I was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But and it's really not even that. I'm just thinking 21-year-old version of myself wasn't even like, I was just focused on like, oh, I'm gonna go after it now. Like I'm gonna be all. Like, I'm sure, like, if I had a child at that point, I'm sure I'd still be definitely present.
You'd make it work,
but I would be, like, still just, like, what can I do and do all this? Like, now, the difference between then and now, it's like, now I'm still have that, like, what can we do? But I'm like, it's, like, a lot more slowed down, and I just prioritize stuff different that I feel like my 21-year-old version wouldn't prioritize enough. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. I mean, like I said before, like, I believe in fate, and, like, things just happen at the time that they're meant to happen. Yeah. So, I mean... Yeah, at like 17, you were kind of wishing you had a kid by 21, but it just, at that time, it wasn't meant to be. And obviously, look at where you are now. It's meant it's meant to be now.
For surely. And so also with that too, when I asked about like, how much, what your perspective has changed since having a baby and becoming a mom, right? So here's the second part for that too. Okay. And I'm curious on this one too, because I've been battling, I guess, myself with it, having this conversation with myself, is that what has your view on your parents changed since becoming a parent of your own? Because like I said, I have my thing on it that I want to touch on, but like I want to like discuss it. So I'll start specifically more so with your mom. So how do you view your mom now, and what do you think about your mom now becoming a mother yourself?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I might get emotional now.
Oh, it's good. The damn bottomless mimosas fell, right? Oh, we have the iced tea ones too. Okay, well, my bad.
Okay. My mom is a superhero to me. Like she was always like amazing, but like being a mom now and going through all the things that I go through on a daily basis, emotionally and physically, and like any kind of way that you can think of. Yeah. Oh my gosh, my mom is a superhero, and I think of her in such high regards, and oh my gosh, I look up to her so much.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a healthy relationship.
I talk to my mom almost like every day.
Yeah.
And I mean, for sure, there's things that she's done, parenting ways, parenting styles and stuff that I would do different. I personally want to do differently, but I know she did her absolute best, and she tried so hard. She tried so hard with me and my brother, and even I have a half brother who who was never like lived with us, but like she was always there for him too. Yeah. So she has just always tried so hard, and I've always recognized that and appreciated that. But like for some reason now, being a mom myself, it's like, holy shit, like you did the damn thing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain other than like, she's just a fucking superhero.
Yeah. I remember the reason why I asked that too, because I first started having this convo with myself a while ago. It was when I want to go watch the premiere for Wakanda Forever, right? So prior to that, I have been like done shopping around the area and everything.
Yeah.
I remember I found this random subtle sign. I feel like it was meant for me to find because it wasn't even in the aisle that it was supposed to be in.
Meant to be?
Yeah. So I found a sign, right? And it was funny. I took a picture of it. And I sent it to my mom, and I was just laughing about it. But it really made me think about it more. So the sign said, "Dear Mom, I get it."
Yes.
And I remember I was just like, this is funny, a little funny thing. And I started thinking about it more, right? And then I was just like, okay. So I was just, because I was by myself, I had a lot more time,
Right.
to sit on it and everything. And
Yeah.
I remember being like, okay. I remember thinking about like how watching her, because I'm the same way too. I look at my mom like superhero, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember just seeing the way she dealt with things, seeing what she had to go through and everything, and then kind of me being like her go-to teddy bear, because I was like the little one at that time. And so seeing that, then I started thinking about, okay, what about when I wasn't there though? Like who was her teddy bear?
Yeah.
When I wasn't there, and she would say like she was really close with my grandpa, right, her dad and everything. And I'm thinking about, okay, what's the cycle in this too? Like there's got to be something to it, because I look at my grandpa that same way too. You know what I'm saying? And so they're both like that, right? And what I've been thinking about and what changed for me too was that I started to look at my parents, both of them, right? I'm looking at them now as before parents. Like I'm kind of removing the title of parents, and I'm starting to look at them as people first, or just a person first, right?
Yeah.
And what's changed for me is that like I'm looking at because I think a lot of times we look at, okay, that's mom, that's dad.
Yeah, like their whole identity is just like your parent.
For your parents, and they're like, oh, they're there, they're this or that,
Yeah.
And what's changed since I've had a baby is that I'm looking at it like them as a person first, or a human first.
Yeah.
And I'm learning now more like, okay, stuff was different back in the day. Stuff was harder. There was no internet back in the day. You know what I'm saying? There's no YouTube. There's no as simple as it is to get the phone and look at this, or distract the baby with
Right,
these things and
yeah.
everything. So I look at it like, okay, how did you guys do it with this? How'd you guys do it back in the day? And that's like, I remember, I think I talked about it on here, maybe when I did the episode with Lily and Cassie. I think I talked about it. I don't know if I did or not. But I remember one time before Shia was born, I remember I was talking to my mom, and I go, how did you guys do it? Like, how'd you find out like what you were having and everything, right? And I
Yes.
remember she goes, what do you mean? And I go, yeah, like, did you guys like do something? Did you guys like, you know what I mean? Did you pay for the thing to find out? She goes,
Right.
no. She goes, I found out the day of.
Yeah, you found out
Yeah.
when you give birth.
I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the day when I gave birth,
Yeah.
I found out what I was having. And it was so over the top over me. Like, I didn't think about that because we're so used to all these things, right? Like these
Yeah.
reveals and all these things. So like we
Yeah.
see all the time that it slipped my mind, and I didn't even think about that. And I was like, oh, that's right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, because now they have 3D scanning and all. You could see like the baby's face
Yeah.
and pay the whatever,
Yeah,
which
we never
didn't
did
do.
that, but
yeah,
yeah,
we
you
didn't do
can
it.
do it.
Yeah, we didn't do it either. And so I'm thinking about that too, and it's like how much. That's why I'm saying, like, I look back at all these things, and also like it gives them a break too, because you look at them like they're just like us. You know what I'm saying? Literally,
They had a whole life.
they had a
before them.
whole another life. They might not have been prepared. They
Yeah.
might not have not understood how to parent at first, and they're learning on the fly just as much as we are.
Yeah.
And so I just look at them more like as individuals first now. You know what I'm saying? Still parents at the end of the day,
That makes sense,
definitely. I just look at them more like they're their own persons now.
Yeah.
I mean, not now, but like I think about that too now. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Because like to me too, it's like when I moved out too, it was like, oh, like you're my mom, but now like we're not living in the same house anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what are you doing? Because like she would always do things for me or for my brother or for
Mm-hmm.
my dad, and now it's like one of us is not there, so it's like now she has extra time to do stuff for her.
Yeah, right.
And
It's
like,
interesting, huh?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, like who are you?
Yeah.
It's so weird how like our perspective of their identity changes once we're like out of the house, and then also again once we're parents ourselves, and you see them in a whole different light, and you're like, oh my God, this is a whole person. This isn't just my mom. That's like somebody who does this. That's somebody who does that. That's somebody who likes to do these things. That's somebody that hates those things. It's like their whole identity is like coming to light because you're so laser focused on like that's just mom, and then it just opens up into like kaleidoscope of like, oh, this is like this multifaceted person. Yeah,
because it's the layers, right, that gets peeled back for it. Because then it's just like, what are they into now? What are they learning? Are they still like, are they still just focused on just like work?
For sure.
Or whatever it is. And it's also it's a learning thing too, I see at least. It's like you get to see now a new hat trick in them. It's like going from parenting to grandparenting now.
Yes.
And learning that as much as we're learning our parents. And then that's also learning to parent us while we're parenting. You know what I mean? Like,
and then you're also as a parent to like a baby, and they're only a grandparent. It's like you're sort of kind of parenting them at the same time.
It's like a whole different thing. And that's what, like I said, I wanted to touch on too, because like I said, that sign kind of like made me think more about it, as opposed to, because at first
a simple 3 words,
it was
but
my
like
humor.
It's so deep.
It was my humor first that made me want to like be like, oh, this is funny. You know what I'm saying? I just send it, and I was just like, oh damn, no, like it's more to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think about that aspect too, and that's just the mother portion of it. So we still think about the father portion of it. We're just still like, it's not that they don't get like thrown in the back or the bus behind everything, but it's kind of like I give a lot more credit, at least on my end. I give a lot more credit, more so now than I did back in the past, because I look at it like still same thing, learning on the fly, human at the end of the day, and everybody is either going through something, making mistakes, and kind of. Like there is no age number. Like there's no you got to learn this by 50, you got to learn this by 60, you got to learn this by 40, right? There is no age where someone goes, you have to know this by, so as we all get older, those life lessons or those regrets or mistakes and stuff like that, you can hit on, reflect on, and also grow from them as you get older. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like that. It's not even just parents. It could be us too. When we look at ourselves, we could be like 20-year-old version of ourselves and be like, maybe we learned more from that. Maybe we've grown from that and everything. You know what I mean?
I would hope so.
Yeah, right. So that's why, as quick and as easy it is for us, and I say like myself to say that, we got to give that credit to our parents too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, like I said, that's one thing that I'm learning with too and everything. And then maybe just coming from a big family, siblings, nieces, nephews, and cousins and everybody. I just look at all of us as we all get older, and it's like we're just learning. You know what I'm saying?
We're always learning.
We're always just learning. Yeah.
Hopefully
so I appreciate that. Yeah.
Because
if you're not, then it's just
you're just sort of kind of you're just staying stagnant.
Yeah,
and
you don't want
that. There's no growth.
Yeah.
It's like you need to keep watering yourself. You need to keep growing and evolving and changing, and you got to want that for yourself. Like nobody else can do that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I want to bring this up too. There's 2 different things, but for the first one, so you let me know what you think about this, because I thought this was interesting, right?
Okay.
So 2 things. Number 1, so I don't know if you might have heard about this. You might have seen this one, but they put out, when I say they, it says Merriam-Webster's Word of the Year. They put out the word of the year for 2022.
Yeah.
What do you think the word for 2022 was?
Oh, for 2022?
Yeah, 2022. What do you think the word of the year is?
Oh. Can I get a hint?
It's newer. It's like more hip, I guess.
My
newer.
first thought, now that you say that,
what do you think?
Is mid.
Wow. Something like,
oh my God, because
I'll
Gil
say
says
this.
it all the time.
I'll say this. The word is mid. Okay. The word that they used was mid.
Okay.
But it's an interesting one, because I didn't hear about it to more so the latter half of the year.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Let me say it.
Yeah, tell me.
So Webster's word of the year is gaslighting.
Gaslight. Oh. That I have mixed feelings about
Really?
that. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the definition, or as Merriam-Webster defines it, which is the act or practice of grossly misleading someone, especially one's own advantage, interest in the term was up by 1,740% over the previous year, which I didn't even know that, according to searches online of the dictionary. Unlike popular
I
terms,
was one of those people.
searches for gaslighting remained high throughout the year rather than spiking in a particular moment. So, one explanation for that says that it's a word that has risen so quickly in the English language, and especially in the last 4 years. See, I didn't even know it was around 4 years ago. That it was that actually came to us as a surprise to a lot of the people. But gaslighting,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So, what do you think about that?
I have mixed feelings just because I feel like it's a very complex word.
Yeah.
It's not like it can't be taken lightly.
Yeah, yeah,
And I can see why, like, over the past 4 years, it's been kind of like a thing of people researching and stuff. Because
Yeah.
I honestly didn't fully know the meaning of it until maybe like this year or last year.
Me was this year. Like I
Yeah.
said, specifically the latter half.
So for that to be like the number one word is almost a little concerning because I feel like maybe it's being misused. Because it's a very serious thing and like it definitely happens.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's something that it's not something that should be taken lightly, and it's a word that just holds so much weight behind it.
Yeah. Well, because also it could be triggering to some people.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it could be a thing that's like that some people kind of are sensitive to because if they feel like they are that, you know what I mean, or they feel like
Yeah.
they're like a victim of that, you know what I mean, so they could feel like they're
Yeah.
like really sensitive to it. But I could see it more so. I could definitely see why it would be the word of the year.
I can
didn't know it was gonna
definitely
be.
see it.
I didn't know it was gonna be that word. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. I would have went for mid, too.
I can definitely see it too.
I would
It's
have.
just like
I would have
whoa.
thought, what's the word of the year? Raiders are on the losing streak. That would, or losing would be the year.
But somehow
yeah,
we're
my
like
team, yeah.
just trying to keep winning for
Trying to.
playoffs. Okay.
They're actually playing right now. I hope they win. I hope they win.
I hope they win too.
Yeah, I hope they win. But yeah, it was interesting with me with gaslighting too because I guess what shocked me the most about it was I didn't know that many people knew what the word meant.
I don't think they do.
Right? I don't know.
I don't
Right?
think they do.
For it to be a thing, I don't know if they're just saying it to say or like maybe they don't fully grasp it or anything, but like I didn't even really know about it, like I said, until the last 6 months of this year. So hearing that, like it went up 1,700% as opposed to last year, and then hearing about that, it was around 4 years ago. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
what was I doing for the last? I didn't even know that was a
Right?
thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay, now that I really think about it and like we keep mentioning it, I guess like think about it, like 2 years ago was a pandemic,
Mhm.
and then like going through that as like a world collectively, this is some experience that we all lived through,
Mhm.
and it's something that was like very detrimental on like our mental health.
Yeah.
That I feel like a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, but like I feel like people who were really interested in like trying to not get into a funk or trying to get themselves out of a funk really like did some research or did some like metaphorically heavy lifting on
Yeah.
like trying to figure out some shit,
Yeah.
and emotionally they were able to figure out that like what was psychologically happening with them and like what has happened with them in like the past or the present. Basically what I'm trying to say is that I think people did research and realized that like in the research of like mental health and stuff, you come across what gaslighting is
Mhm.
and what it looks like and
Yeah.
examples of that. And then you kind of realize like, oh shit, like that has happened to me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of happening to me now. That's happened to me before. They're like realizing what gaslighting is and that they've experienced it or are experiencing it. So I think at this point, like after the pandemic, we're still in it. Like
Yeah.
COVID's
It's
still a
not,
thing.
Yeah, it's not 100%
but like
gone yet.
things are more open now. So
Yeah.
it's like after that, people are still kind of like in the whole like, which is great. Like mental health is like so huge and like important that there's this whole like market for it. And which
Yeah.
is why I also think that like gaslighting has become the number one word this year.
Whole lot of more transparency.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
people are realizing what it is and they're like, oh shit, like I've experienced that. Or like, I
Yeah.
know what that is now. And they're basically naming their traumas or like naming the things that they've seen before that they didn't realize had a name for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now they're putting that title to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I definitely see that. So let me ask you this now: what is excluding that? What would be your word of the year for 2022?
My word. What is my word?
I have mine already. I know mine. Cap. Cap. No, I got mine.
Oh my god. My word. Oh my gosh. I really feel like I'm on the spot and I have no idea. Give me your word first.
Okay. My word of the year is unlearning.
Ooh, I love that.
Unlearning.
Ooh.
Unlearning.
I feel like that was my word like a couple years ago. That's not.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
mine
really
is
feel that way.
unlearning.
My word this year. Shit, I don't know.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, that would be mine.
My word this year is baby.
That's true. Hey,
my word this year is baby.
it works in a bunch of different. It works for two different things right now. So two. Baby.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
Baby.
Baby. Okay. So trip on this one. I want to get your input on this. Let me know what you think. This actually just happened on the fly too. So
okay.
This was so I want to kind of talk about this because I thought it was.
You're making me nervous by your laugh.
Trip out. So this was news, right? News that was happening right now. Well, I don't know if it's right now, but this is just news in general. Okay. It states, man gets back at his ex-girlfriend by abandoning her car at the airport, generating over $100,000 in fines. It says an unemployed.
Did she not know it was gone?
So, okay, I'm gonna give you some background on this. This was Chicago. Okay, so an unemployed single mother owes the city of Chicago $105,000 in parking fees after her ex-boyfriend registered an old car in her name and parked it at the airport without her knowledge. Officials claim, and I'll leave her name blank, owes $105,761 for 678 parking violations issued to a 1999 Chevy Monte Carlo registered.
Why didn't they just tow the damn car?
Her name, right?
Wait, okay, I have so many questions.
Right, right.
What is this story?
Not the 99 Monte Carlo.
This is not real.
Chicago. Yeah. I mean, her name, and I just I don't want to say her full name, but
no, it's okay.
Her full name is on here, and I guess homie re-registered. I mean, he might have just paid the fees. Like it was probably an old car. He probably paid the renewal fees online, got the tags, and then drove it and left it there to get back at her. And they left it there.
I have so many questions, but that's also why is that like genius?
Bro, isn't that low key that's diabolical, right? Isn't it kind of like what did she do? Doesn't it make you want to be like, what did she do that you want to accumulate all these fines for? The fact, because you had to pay for the renewal fees.
Yeah.
Are you looking at it like?
Okay, I have so many different viewpoints on this story. The first
Daily Mail.
First one that I can think of right now is that's fucking genius because he wanted to get revenge. That's wow. That's
one way.
Applaudable.
That's one way.
Another side of me is just okay. Is it her that did something, or is it him that's just has a hurt ego?
What did he do? Yeah. What did he do?
And it's what did you do to make her not want to fuck?
He's just
girl,
she cheated on me, and it's what did she do? And he's oh, she went to lunch with her coworker.
Yeah,
and it's bro, come on.
Was your ego your ego hurt, or were you actually hurt?
Was it one of those things where it's bro, we broke up for 2 weeks, and then we were on a break, and then she did this,
right?
But meanwhile, I was over here. You know what I'm saying?
He's trying to paint this picture that she's batshit crazy when it's in reality he's the one that's batshit crazy. So there's that, and then there's also the side that's she's a single mom. That's so fucked up.
Is this the dad?
Oh my god, that's what?
Would it make it worse if that was the dad?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because it didn't say it. Didn't. It just says ex-boyfriend. And they're just the fact that think about what you have to go. But
then also the airport. Why didn't you just tow the damn car?
Right. Yeah.
Why did you just leave it there?
Where did he have it parked though? Because what if we had to park at the overnight parking lot? You leave your car over there overnight,
Okay, but to accumulate over $100,000 in parking fees, it must have stayed there for
Had to
way
be-
too damn
yeah,
long.
had to be like
where
a
it
month.
should have just been towed at that point.
Had to be at least a
So
month.
you know what? It's the city of Chicago that fucked up on that one.
What if what if airport
gonna leave it
policy?
at
What if airport policy goes, you can leave your car up to 30 days or whatever the fuck, what if he spent the block? What if he moved, like he pulled up? Like, mind you, this is just, what if he pulled up
then
and
he
then
is
moved it?
batshit crazy.
What if he moved it across the street or like to the next parking spot and made it think like it was moved?
Okay, then he's the one that's batshit crazy.
He's
if
the one
he's
that's
like,
crazy.
if he's consistently keeping this up just so she can get the fine.
Right. Obviously,
Like,
we don't
what the
we don't have the
hell?
police report.
Oh my god.
But think about that and think about like
this is real.
he would have to you have to move it. He would have to move it, right?
You need to forward me this link.
I'm gonna show you. Yeah, he would have to have moved it, right?
What?
Because he's the only one with the keys. He would have to have moved it because if she had no knowledge of it,
Wait, then you can take that to court and be like, officer, this isn't my fucking car, or he did some bullshit.
They don't
and
got no
some
cameras?
Crazy shit. Exactly.
they don't got no cameras.
Like, she does not owe a dime. It's either that guy that owes all that money or the city of Chicago that should have just towed
Source
the damn
didn't.
car a long time ago.
It says that it's the highest by far, the highest parking fine the city has
Oh
ever
my
received.
God.
Yeah, no shit,
The city's
100,000.
they're never going to receive that money.
They said,
They're not getting paid.
oh, okay. So it says he registered an old car in her name.
But how do you do that
That's
without like
illegal,
her information?
Right? That's illegal, right? You can't register a car in someone else's name
Yeah.
because they have to sign it. Because whenever
Sure.
when you do the vehicle transfer, you have to sign the back of it.
Both parties have to be there.
Yeah, you have to sign the back of it.
This is
This is
This
HIPAA
is just-
laws, all kinds of shit being involved in this. I'm still tripping, bro. I should be fined for dropping fucking two bottles of bottomless mimosas. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you paid for the bottles, so
Damn, man.
it's okay.
Luckily, no one was hurt.
I gotta
Anyway,
feed a baby anyways.
yeah, that's true. Anyway, 2 years down.
Congrats.
2 years episode.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
2 years.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. 2-year anniversary on this one. Dropped bottomless. I feel like
I feel like we could just keep going
I
for
know.
a long time.
no, literally, like I'm telling you, my only thing, the sole reason why I'm wrapping this up is because I want to go get an iced tea drink now. I bought those for Gil, and I'm
kind
like,
of thirsty.
now I'm like, you know what? I really do want to get another one of those right now. But damn, yeah, good talk, great convo.
I feel like it
bunch
went
of different
everywhere.
things. Well,
I
yeah.
know so many things.
But that's why I like doing
Oh my
those ones too.
gosh.
That's why I like all these episodes that they go everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we hit a lot of good value on those and stuff that, like I said, I was curious about and stuff that I just like to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was fun.
Appreciate you for coming on.
Thanks
Olivia
for asking me
Guzman,
to come
thank you.
back after
Come on,
2
y'all.
years.
Come on, y'all. We back at it. Don't clown me. I know I dropped it. Okay. I know I clowned. I clowned. I know I dropped it. Okay.
It's okay.
Thank y'all. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for everything.
Yes.
Thank you to my guests. Yo, it's lit. Don't gaslight us. Do not gaslight us. We're unlearning, okay? We have a baby. Okay?
I was about to say.
Y'all stay safe, man. Peace.
Okay, bye.
Come on.